on my phone, which meant the whole feed's gone down. So if anybody's watching this, which there isn't at the moment because there isn't a link out there, then we shall just carry on talking junk for a little while. And if nobody else turns up, then we'll call it a night. But apologies for that. Unfortunately, I've suffered a malfunction on my phone, which has basically ended the feed, and I can't get back in to the original feed. So I've set this one up as a part 2. If anybody comes in, we got 1 like already, so there's at least somebody's looking somewhere. So anyway, it is what it is. 8 people online. Okay, so all right, that's excellent. So at least somebody's found us, and we come back live.
They're finding, they're finding us.
Yeah, Matt Steele's just come up as if by magic. Yeah. So for those that are watching, apologies. I've suffered a major malfunction with my phone, which I believe is related to the fact it's just overheated. So I've had to sit here for a couple of minutes with a fan on it and disconnect the charger and all the rest of it. But we're back, and we'd appreciate some thumbs up again, please. Thank you very much. Apologies for that. 15 people online, and please put your questions back again. Because clearly, hopefully, we can limp our way to the end, and I can only apologise. Okay, so back sounding great, wonderful, excellent. Procast Foundry fuel stabilisers. I only do maybe 200 miles a year. Worth putting it in. Yes.
Doesn't matter how many miles you do.
Yeah. So if you've got a car that you're leaving fuel in for more than 30 days before you have to refill it, you need to be using fuel stabilizer. Simple.
Yeah.
Simple. All right. So yes, absolutely. Fuel stabilizer for cars that are not using using a lot. The problem is the fuel starts to go off, and then it starts to degrade the components in the fuel system, and we end up with, as you see on some of the videos, things eaten away, and it's not good. It's not good.
No.
And I'm sure you've seen some of it as well, Ross. When you get cars in there, you start
I mean, in all honesty, completely off topic, but the worst one I've ever seen was actually my boat. I don't know whether I sent you the pictures of that carburetor, but that was just horrendous.
Yeah.
Full of crystals in the bottom of the float bowl. So the stabilizer is a must. Really is.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we use it in Kirsty's 1430. She doesn't use that very regularly at all. Every time we go to that car, flick the key, fires up, sweet as a nut.
Yeah.
No loss in performance.
Yeah.
Great. Really, really good stuff.
The stabilizer transforms the ownership, really, doesn't it? It's amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so Procast Foundry's come back with drain the tank, fresh fuel, and add. So what I would do is run the tank, drive the car, run the tank down. Okay, go to the fuel station, put in the appropriate amount of stabilizer, brim the tank, and then drive it around for 15 or 20 minutes, and then put it away and store it. If you use the Stabil product that I use, that'll stay there for 2 years and still be good. All right. So that's what you need to do. All right. It's no good just putting it in the tank and then putting it away. You've actually got to run it to get it all the way up the system and into the carburetor. All right. So once you start doing that, your ownership will be transformed. All right. Yeah. Can't add it to old fuel. Definitely not, because it won't rejuvenate old fuel. It's got to be on new fuel.
And interestingly enough, neither does new fuel. If you've got stale fuel in the tank, new fuel won't bring it back up. It actually works the other way around. The old fuel will drag the new stuff down.
Yeah. So it's a problem, but it's easily solved. So all this like new fuel shit. No, new fuel's really good for actually running an engine, but you've just got to treat it differently. So it needs stabilizer in it if you're not using it, and then there's no problem. 1380 Flip said hi. George Z, AC, when RTS clutch get... Oh, okay, right, yeah, he's asking these questions again. Right, fine. Okay. So as I said there earlier, you need to look at... I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put my fan on, because what I don't want to do... So there might be a hum now, and I apologise, but I'm trying to keep my phone cool, all right? Because I don't want it to shut down again, okay? So anyway, when it comes to the running in stuff, as I said before, look back on the feed that's just closed on the previous live, and earlier on in there was a whole section on how best to run an engine in. So please watch that. J.O. Carlos, hi AC Dodd, and thank you for all your content from the past 9 years. Are you willing to give your full training course in Portugal? Greetings from Lisbon. Yeah, I think it might cost a bit much if you want to drag me to Portugal, but in terms of the way we can do it via remote training. So we do it via video link, okay? So that is absolutely possible. Yeah, Procast Foundry, which product? I was cooking my tea and missed it. So talking about stabilizer, I use Stabil, okay? So I'm just going to nip off and grab a bottle. Ross, if you can take over for the minute.
Yeah.
I'll be back in about 10 seconds.
Interestingly enough, Aid, on that subject, have you ever used the Stabil 360?
No, I haven't, but I understand it's good. The only difference with Stabil 360 is it does two things. One of which is the storage will give you 2 years. The 360 will only give you a year. Okay.
Right.
So the idea about 360 is in the name. 360, use it every time. That's basically what it is. So use it every fill. But what that will do is, I understand, and I'm not 100% sure on this, but it will actually give you more protection, and it will dispel some more moisture. Okay. That's what I understand about that product. But I recommend this one purely because I've tested it and I know it works, and I've got lots of feedback on it. So that's why I recommend that one. Okay, so what we got here? Some bloke, big engine I use, SA50. Yeah. Question in 4 parts. Okay. Until you put me onto LZX 1773 slow drop rabbit, I was looking at dampers which are verified stock to fit Jags. Yeah, okay, fine. So he was just saying that I was able to give him a slow drop damper suggestion, which is a 1773.
Right.
What else is he saying? You sorted me out, and thanks a lot. But and you make sense. Can you make sense of why my Sherpa has relative to a fast drop damper? Well, it's a smaller engine, right? So it's not 2.5 litres. So the point is, your Sherpa will probably have an overrun valve as well, right? So the overrun valve is there to create airflow when you close the throttle, to keep the damper up, okay, to keep the fuel out. So that's what that overrun valve is for. Everyone does. If I know that you've got an issue and you don't like overrun valves, well, you need an overrun valve. That's why it's fitted in there for those applications. All right. The overrun valve leans out the fuel when you shut the throttle. That's the point. In conjunction with a slow drop damper. So Darren Robert Shaw, the regulator I fitted AC now has a tiny bit of sediment in the bottom of the glass bowl. Sure, it's not a problem at the moment, but how much is too much? When it affects the running of the car, it's too much. So if it's a little bit of sediment, it's doing its job, right? So this guy's got a Filter King. Okay,
Filter King with a glass bowl.
So the Filter King, Darren, is doing exactly what it should do, which is capture the sediment. All right. If it's looking like it's filling up, then you've obviously got a contaminated tank, and therefore that might indicate that you might need to do a little bit of work. Now, depending on what that sediment is, if it's little bits of black rubber, you need to change your fuel hose. Right. If it's rusty sediment, bits of metal, you probably got a tank problem or a metal line problem. Okay, Procast Foundry, many thanks to you both. No problem at all. 1380 Flip, what brand of stabilizer do you recommend? Just did it. There you go. That's what I recommend. Simple. Next. By the way, everybody, there's 38 people now online. This is fantastic. You found us. You come back online. really appreciate that. I can't apologise enough for being technically inept, but I think my phone basically crapped out because it got too hot. So obviously it's warm this evening, and you know, I'm struggling. So hopefully my battery will last, and I'll wait for it to run down and before I putting it back on charge. But hopefully I've got enough to go for until 10 o'clock, which is good. So Chris Godfrey, hi AC, watching from New Zealand. Good news in New Zealand, by the way. Within 2 weeks, you're going to have a trained tuner down there. Fantastic. Hannah Garage. So they're coming online via Darren. Darren Haynes is doing the video training for them. So yeah, I think it's TK Robinson's being trained. So I don't know where he is to you, Hannah Garage, but please look them up. Love your content and knowledge. I have a ADO 16 1300. Do you ever go and tune these, or is it always minis? I'll tune anything with an SU on it. The problem I've got is when you put a video out tuning minis, guess what people phone you up for? Minis, right? I need people. So I have one today, got a V8 Land Rover. Yeah, I'll come do that. I need to be, you know, no problem to do that. I just need the cars. But the point is, I will tune anything with an SU on it. There are some problems though. If it's got triple SUs like a Jag, well, you know, very difficult to understand the fueling, and you need a wideband in the car, or we need a rolling road, and that adds extra expense. And sometimes customers don't want to play that game. So I can only put on YouTube, or I can only tune the work I get. So yes, we could do your ADO 16, even by remote tune as well. And Darren's going to have a video coming out soon on remote tuning, because he's got a lovely video he's done on a remote tune that went very well. Darren Robert Shaw, not sure what the sediment is. It's only a small amount, but good to know it's working. Absolutely.
And obviously the other thing to note there is, because you've got it and you can see it, just remember that that is now a service item.
Yes. well, yeah. It's a new thing to your car, but yes, it is a service item, and it will need maintenance to make sure it stays working. Absolutely. So we're back up to 45 now. So excellent. That's fantastic. Can I have a few more likes, please? Thank you very much. I've only got 16. If you all hit the like button again, that would be fantastic. Okay, Dave Yendall says, yeah, sounds better now. I think it was a connector problem. I think my phone was struggling, to be fair. It had got to the point where it was just the processor was going too hot. I need to shut down. So my whole phone went slow. So yeah, apologies about that. Some bloke says, thanks AC, you're so kin right. That mechanical valve. I don't even like the HIF 44 piston. I'm using a solenoid to lift my, yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. The problem is, some bloke, that these problems have already been addressed over the years by SU, and by changing that and changing the setup by you know, removing these things, creates other problems, and that's why you have to understand why they was originally fitted in the first place. Darren Robert Shaw's got back to you, Ross. Cheers, Ross. How often are we changing the filter then?
If it were me and it were my car, depending on the mileage you're doing, I'd probably be changing that filter biannually, you know, every 2 years. But obviously, whenever you service your car, you need to pull it out and have a look at it, and you make that decision. But for the sake of, what are they, about £7, I think, something like that?
Yeah.
Every 2 years is not bad.
Just buy a couple, put them on the shelf, and when it looks bad, change it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem at all.
100%.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, no more questions at the moment. So is there anything else you want to inform people on, Ross, while we're here?
I don't think so at the moment.
Okay. Oh, dare we ask the question about a rolling road, or do we have to hide when we say that?
No, we've had some unfortunate use, in so much as the one that we were hoping to get our hands on is now no longer available.
Okay.
So we're looking at different options at the minute. We're probably going to end up stumping and buying a brand new one.
Yeah.
But that means obviously it's going to be a slightly longer wait, because we need to get some more coins in the coffers. But you know, we'll get there. We'll get there. It's still high up the agenda.
Yeah, okay, that's all right. I'll always ask you the question. You know that when you're on, because
Yeah,
I'm just as eager as you are, probably more eager than you
I've
are.
even been considering, you know, possibly an engine dyno, something
Okay.
like that. It's not as flexible for us because then obviously that means we can only tune what we're building.
Yeah.
And I've also been looking at hub dynos as well.
Okay. All
So
right.
lots of options.
Okay. Nice. All right. Well, I'm sure you'll keep us informed of how you get on, which will be
Yeah,
excellent. Okay, so we got a question from Sean Holmes. 1275 Metro with a HI 44 and electronic dizzy. Struggling with timing. Set it at 13 degrees. No, set it at 13. 3032. Runs okay. I'm in the ballpark. Have triple SU and twin HS8 on an MGC. They work well. Okay, so we're talking about, yeah, your 32 degrees at 3000 is too much advance unless you're at altitude. But seriously, that's too much advance. You need less advance than that. So I don't know what that engine is. If it's just a standard Metro engine, I'd be aiming for 29 degrees at 4000 thereabouts. You don't really want that much advance at 3000. So your advance curve's a bit aggressive, really. Hopefully that helps you there, but clearly you need that advance adjusted in the distributor. Now, is it all in at 3000 or is it advancing more than that after 3000 revs? That's the question I've got for you, Sean. So 25 likes, come on, push that like button, let's get it up. There's 41 people online at the moment. Give us a like.
41 people have found us again, so that's great.
And that's fantastic they found us, so I'm really impressed. Okay, so what else is going on? I think I have a few irons in the fire. One of which is obviously I mentioned earlier about the throttle shaft spindles seals on the HS4, which you're going to test for me.
Yeah.
And obviously I also have an HS4 AC Dodd version, which the factory are going to build. I have this parts list indoors, which I need to update. So that's going to come online later in the year as well. So things are moving in the background about various things. Just for people that weren't online earlier, I will mention it again because we're on a different feed. We are currently working on some master rebuild kits for HS4 and HIF 44 carbs with SU. I give them the parts today, so they're going to make those available. So yeah, that makes it easier for people to get those parts all in one box and at a sensible price, because clearly a master kit will cost a lot more than a standard rebuild kit because it has more bits in. But that's something interesting for you guys out there who are into rebuilding their own stuff. Okay, so Stephen Williams. Okay, I see. I saw a YouTube tune-up you did on an old van with an SU. You appeared to undertake a post tune-up test drive using a wideband. Is there a way of fitting a wideband without welding a fixing point? In reality, you're best off welding one in, purely because anything else will have an air leak. So I don't understand why you wouldn't want to weld a boss in, because you can put a boss in, and if you don't want to leave the gauge in, you can take it out and put a plug in afterwards and just have it as a tuning aid. So if I was you, I think the van you were talking about, that was an old comma. Yeah, and we had to have a wideband in that purely because I don't know what the fueling was under load. So it was only when we drove the van that I could do the fueling. So the point is, get a boss welded in, because that really is the best way of doing it. Yeah, so Sean's just said all in at 3000. Yeah, so that advanced curve is too aggressive for an A series. A series engine. I'm buying a new wiring loom for my 88 Mayfair. Should I keep the ballast system? And if so, what is the advantages over a non-ballast system? Okay. Do you want to answer this, or shall I answer it, Ross?
You can answer this one because
Okay.
I know you love getting into a conversation about ballasts.
Okay, right. So
if it were me, I'd be saying no, delete it, fit electronic high power ignition and everything else.
Yeah. So Ross is absolutely right. Okay. If you're gonna have an engine, if you're gonna have a car built, and you're going to use electronic ignition, there's no point having a ballast. You just go straight for a high power system, and it's better all the way, right? Better than any points. If you're going to run points, then you need a ballast resistor and a 1.5 ohm coil, right, to get the best out of that system. Simple. So if you're going to have points, 1.5 ohm coil and a ballast resistor. If you're not going to have points and you're going to run electronic, then just have the high power electronic, no ballast resistor, and we're all good. Simple.
Yeah.
Just to answer a quick question there and the advantages. The advantages basically of using a ballast system over a non-ballast point system is more coil power. So you'll get better starting. You'll be able to run a leaner mix. During cruise, and the car will drive better. It'll be sharper on the throttle. All right. The most important thing to understand is any high power system is better than a low power system. So if you go to a 0.8 ohm coil and electronic system with variable dwell, no ballast resistor, you can then run even leaner mixes, okay, and even better starting and all the rest of it. All right. So just, in my world and Ross's world, as you just said, there is no point in building a car without high power ignition. Why would you do it?
Yeah.
Because you can run the engine leaner at part throttle, which means it lasts longer and it's better on fuel. What's not to like? Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. MGC, some bloke, MGC guy, get yourself a 123 ignition and a rolling road session. You won't regret it. Yeah, absolutely. Luke Fish, hi guys. I'm welding the toe board on the left-hand side. Do you know if there's a panel available that is curved? That is the curved convex part. It seems part of the bulkhead and connects to the floor. Thanks. That's one for you, Ross. You're a panel man.
So do you mean the bottom of the toe board as it comes down where the subframe mounts and sort of the floor pan slots in underneath it? If so, no, you'll have to make it. It's a relatively straightforward thing to make. The toe board is thicker material than normal panels. So you will need to buy something that's, I think it's about 1.2, 1.3 mil, something like that, not the usual 0.9 mil. So if it's that bit that you're on about, no, it's not available. And obviously it's a complete toe board if you just want to cut the bit out. So I personally will buy yourself a piece of sheet, fold it. It's not a huge angle or anything like that, if that is the piece that you're on about.
So yeah, a little bit more information if you can, Luke, that would help. Yeah, some bloke just said, more likes, gents. Thank you very much. More likes, please. Thank you. Sean Holmes says, cheers. Steve Williams says, thanks, AC. Okay, fine. Okay. So we got a spammer. Just so the spammer knows, he's been reported. Okay. Hit and miss. I have an HS6 I'd like to install on a modified 1275 that's just been rebuilt. The HS6 has a rich needle BBH in it that I was going to use as a base. Can you explain the risk of ball wash? Okay. First off, hit and miss. Yes, I can, but I need to just check my needle charts because I can't remember what a BBH is off the top of my head. But the question I've got for you is that HS6 has it been rebuilt? Is it a rebuilt? Nice one, thank you. So perhaps if you can read off the stations, Ross, when you find it. So has that HS6 card been rebuilt or is it an old one? Because if it's a new engine, don't put an old SU on a new engine. Get it rebuilt before you put it on. All right, because that will definitely, if it leaks, will bore wash the engine for you, regardless of what needle's in there.
So BBH is 0.99, 95, 92, 90, 879, 853.
Too rich.
Yeah, very, very rich, that is.
Yeah, so if this is so on a 1275, I'd start with, to be on the safe side, put a BFY needle in it, just to make sure it's running lean at part throttle, okay? BFY, I don't know what the rest of the spec of your needle is, but a BBH is too rich. If you tell us the spec of the engine, we will be able to help you a bit more. But when you say it's modified, I need to know what cam, what cylinder head, what air filter, so I can then maybe what rockers as well, so I can therefore work out whether you need a red spring or a yellow spring and all the rest of it.
Yeah, it's all over the place, that needle. It gets very, very lean 8, 9, and 10, and then gets very, very rich at the top end.
Okay, so what's the full throttle point?
638.
Yes, too lean. Well, if it's a modified engine, it'd be too lean. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, fine. So yeah, we need to know a bit more information, hit and miss, about your engine to give you a better idea of what's going on. But in order to understand your second part of the question, can you explain the risk of bore wash? The risk of bore wash is basically the twofold. One of which is your idle setting. So when you put you start your engine up, you adjust the mixture nut to give you the right mixture at idle, right? What you don't do is adjust the mixture nut to make it drive nicely, because you will bore wash that new engine, right, in very short order. Because in order to do that, you will wind the mixture nut down, which will make the idle very rich and the part throttle driving very rich. Okay. Now we've already looked at that needle. That's a very rich needle at part throttle. This is a bad way forward. Okay, so bore washing happens when you've got too much fuel through the engine at all times. So when you're running an engine in, you need to be able to monitor what's going on by having a wideband gauge, and then you can control that fueling. That's what it's all about. All right. Now people get very, I'm not spending 250 quid on a wideband gauge. I'll tell you what, that's a damn sight cheaper than an engine. So everybody should be fitting a wideband gauge to understand what their fueling actually is, especially on a new engine. All right, because new engines need to be running properly and their fueling needs to be under control. You will not get control by asking someone what needle should be fitted. You will get control by monitoring using a wideband gauge of what your engine's actually doing. All right. I think I'll answer the next one. Jake, what are the benefits of fitting a wideband? So you know what the fueling's doing, so that you can make adjustments. That's basically what it is. And you can see if you're damaging your engine, either being too rich or too lean. Okay. I'm not sure what you're asking there, Matt Steele. It says, do you know if there's a dashboard template to fit in between the rails floating around on the web anywhere? I'm not understanding that question.
Yes, there is, Matt.
Right.
If you mean a template so you can make a sort of flat panel dash that fits between a top dash rail and a bottom dash rail, yes, there is. I might even have a copy of it somewhere. Drop me an email or a message. I'll see if I can send it over to you. It
Thanks,
used to be on the mini forum.
Okay, thank you for that. At least you understood the question, because I didn't. So Luke Fisher's got back to you, Ross. You're talking about this panel. It's hard to describe, really. It's the part that curves out towards. I think it has the clips that attaches the carpet to.
Oh, right. Okay. So that is effectively the inner sill then. So that is the flat panel of the floor that comes up towards the door. Because usually you've got sort of a, this sort of angle, and then a flat piece comes up towards the doorstep. That's normally where the carpet clips are fitted. Yes, you can buy those as a repair panel. The only real panel that will replace it is a floor pan, but you can buy repair panels to do that if that's the bit that you're referring to. Again, that's probably even simpler to fold up and make yourself if you've got a folder or something like that. But those repair panels are not very expensive if that's what you mean. And if you just give me a minute, I'll find you the part number.
Wonderful.
Because then if you tap it in on mini spares, you might be able to tell me in the comments whether that is the bit that you're looking at.
Wonderful. All right. See, and that's the benefit of having different people on this live stream is I don't know everything. And people like Ross can absolutely answer questions about building cars and panels and all the rest of it, because I focus mainly on engine components, gearbox components, transmission, and obviously tuning and carburetors and things like that. Whereas Ross kind of focuses on all of it, if that makes sense. So he does all that plus building the cars. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. Sean Holmes, AC, I did regret the 123. It failed at 6,000 RPM on the bed dyno. I've never gone to them again, as it was one of the early versions with limited code. You seem to have better experience. So my experience with the 123 is it's excellent, but you have to use the right resistance coil with it. There's a lot of people that kill the modules by using the wrong coils and all this sort of stuff. So my advice to you is if you use the 123, use the 123 tune, the Bluetooth one that you can then map, fantastic, but use it with their own high power coil. Brilliant system. Stephen Williams, using a solid state facet style fuel pump and Malpassi regulator. What fuel pressure would you set for running a carb setup? What carb is it, Steve? Because if it's an HS carb, it's 1.25 psi. If it's a HI 44, depending on the spec, anywhere from 2 to 2.5 psi. Simple. A series engine. What sound deadening material would Ross recommend to replace the thick original material that the carpet attaches to, as mine is beyond repair?
Do you mean, as I call it, the horsehair sort of stuff that was originally fitted? So it's a very fibrous material that the carpet sat on top of. If you mean that stuff, I absolutely detest that stuff. It's awful. There's lots and lots of modern equivalents out there. The stuff that we use is a product called Silent Coat, which is the silver-backed foil insulation, which is also a sound deadening pad, so it stops the drumming and everything else. We fit that on the inside of everything we build, door skins, rear quarters, and on the floors. It can be overpainted as well. Or if you mean a proprietary sound deadening, so just an extra layer that goes between the carpet and the floor, the mini spares one is very, very good, and it's very cheap as well. Almost like an underlay.
Yeah.
If
there
that's
you go.
What you
Thanks
mean.
very much. Hit and miss. Thanks, AC and Ross. Jake, thanks, AC. Matt Steele, exactly that, Ross. Well done. You nailed it. Thank you.
Okay.
Some bloke, how hard do you go with a blow lamp on a 4.9 LSU? I'm trying NTK now. So basically, just get it glowing. You know, don't want to go any hotter than carrot orange. Yeah, that's all I use with a propane blowtorch. Not a huge blowtorch, just a little one. One of these. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. I haven't got mine handy. I can't bring it over. So I just use probably a 1/2-inch nozzle on the end of a Calagas blowtorch. I use a bullfinch blowtorch. Works perfectly for cleaning the sensor out.
I just use a little map gas Rothenberger torch.
Yeah, that's it. And when I'm out on the road, I just have I have the same thing, a little mobile Rothenberger with a map gas yellow tank on it. Works perfectly. Pete Holmes, on Widebands, don't buy cheap. You'll only go and buy the better one. Yes. What he says is true.
Yeah. That sounds like the voice of experience.
Some bloke, wideband is another world. I defy you to know what your fueling is doing without it. There speaks the voice of experience.
Yes, very much so. The only thing I would say about a wideband gauge is a lot of them need to be able to have an off switch, because you will find yourself looking at that more than the road ahead.
And then worrying about every slight deviation.
Yes.
And when you start up in the morning, different day, and it's different. Oh, the world's ending. No.
Yeah.
Paul Watson, this is the guy with the Moggy tune. Could never tune mine without a wideband. 100%. Absolutely. 1380 flip. Where is the best location on the exhaust system to locate the wideband sensor? Where do you fit them, Ross, on a Mini?
I fit mine just about, difficult to explain, but just about behind the gear selector mechanism. So pretty much halfway up the car.
Yeah.
The main reason for that is you get a good balance of lack of pulses back down and a nice steady reading coming up the exhaust.
Yeah.
But mainly it's room for the sensor.
Yeah. Because they have
It's
to be
a
mounted
little
at an
bit
angle.
of a compromise.
Yeah. Agreed. You might also find that, once you fit it, you have to clean it out as well. So, it's not a fit and forget. It's something you need to do maintenance on.
Yeah.
Luke Fish, nice one, guys. Appreciate the help. No problem at all, Luke. We're coming up. I think we're in the last 6 minutes before 10 o'clock, because we'll finish at 10 if that's okay, if everybody else is done. We still got 45 online, so well done. Okay, some bloke, why your wideband off the all light switch via relay or cold shock damage? Yeah, okay. So it comes, all right. So he's basically saying, there's a delay on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Sean Holmes gives us a thumbs up. No problem, Sean. Steve Williams. Okay. DLHA 45. Are you talking about the... Let me just go back. I can't remember the question. Oh, yeah. What fuel pressure? So what fuel pressure do you run with a Delauto? They're a lot higher pressure. I don't know what the figures, because I don't mess around with Delautos.
I think they're around about 3.5.
There you go.
I think. Don't quote me on that, but I'm sure it's about the same as 3.5.
Yeah. Now, at the end of the day, 3.5 psi is a shitload of fuel, right? So, what you want to do is run the minimum fuel pressure, right, to give you a consistent supply. That's it.
Yeah.
Overpressure is pointless. Okay. Pete Holmes, sure is Ross. That's what he come back with. Okay.
Yeah, it sounded like.
Yeah. Right. Sorry, I'm just scanning. Ross, would you offer a service to supply and fit a wideband?
Yeah, no problem at all. We carry the bosses in stock. We've always got those here. Just really need to decide your preference on gauge, but yeah, we can do that for you, no problem whatsoever.
Rich Holder, chaps, got a noisy valve train. Set clearances several times, but noisy tappet somewhere. Where to find out about shimming? Okay, so we need a little bit more information there, Rich. Is this a standard engine, standard rockers, what cams fitted, all this sort of stuff? Is it a recently built engine, or is it completely standard as an old one? So if you can just tell us a bit more about that engine, hopefully we can steer you in the right direction. Duckham's, is there any risk changing the head to unleaded? The stories are oil consumption and running hotter. Well, I'm going to swear, it's bollocks.
Yeah.
That's whoever's told you that, or wherever you picked that up from, that's bum information. Minis have been running unleaded. A series have been running unleaded since 1989. There isn't an issue. The only issue you might find is if you've got 12-to-1 compression, that's probably not going to end well. All right.
Yeah.
But so if you've got a standard road engine, you know, and a sensible engine, there's not going to be an issue by changing to unleaded. And I would thoroughly recommend having the hardened inserts fitted into a head because it protects the cylinder head from cracking and things like that. As long as they're fitted properly. Stephen Williams, that's good enough as a start of a 10. Thanks, guys. No problem at all. Dave Yendall, Vizar book tells you pressures on Weber, Autos, etc. Okay, lovely. Thank you.
I've got to be honest, I've just grabbed a copy because I've never ever noticed it.
Yeah, there we go. Darren's Restorations. Any problems with the CAEA 525 dual valve springs? I'm seeing lower seated pressures than the supplied specifications. Darren? Yeah, don't worry. As long as they're all the same, that's why you need to shim them, all right? So if they're lower seated pressures, and that might be because you're putting them in a cylinder head where the valves have been cut, so the valves stick through the head further, so the pressures are lower. That's why you need to shim. But you're absolutely right, and you're doing the right thing for actually checking that, which is fantastic. Sean Holmes, thanks guys for your time. It's always appreciated. No problem, Sean. David Yendall, great session both time, actually. No problem at all. Okay, so 36 now. We're coming into the last couple of minutes. Rich Holder, thanks AC. 9 and 8 with stage 1 as bought. 1986 Advantage. I bet original cam and rockers based on what I see. Okay, rocker already appears to have one shim fitted. Right, complete novice is learning. All right, so if it's a standard engine, it's got shims fitted. Where are the shims? Are they under the rocker posts or like shims between the rockers to the posts? So if you're properly adjusting the valve clearances, and I say that because I went out to a car on Saturday that the guy attempted to do the valve clearances and they were nowhere near where they needed to be. So you know, with all due respect, if you're not setting the clearances properly, then it will be tapping. But if you are setting the clearances properly and you're at 12 thou, for example, and they're tapping, it may be because you've actually got damaged cam followers and cam lobes. All right, and that's because it's an old engine. So you can't adjust out damage. All right, if you've got a chip follower and you know, worn cam lobes, it's going to make a noise. Especially as well if you've got slack rockers, worn out rockers, that will obviously add to that noise as well. They spec the Darren's got back. Yeah, they spec the pressure at 1.5 to be 75, but I'm measuring 60. Yeah, carry on. Yeah, you're not expecting it to be right out of the packet, are you, Darren?
Nothing is.
So the most important thing, Darren, is they're all about the same. They should all be about the same. If they're all about the same, then you just need to shim them up and you'll be good to go. Rich Holder, thanks both. Guitar Rich, thanks guys, and see you soon. Some bloke, more likes. Yeah, thank you both. All right, and no problem. Thanks, some bloke. Darren's just got back and said, yeah, we'll do. No problem at all. Rich Holder, on top of post. Can't remember which. Set to 12 thou for sure, suspecting where. Yeah, so if you've got a shim on the top of the post, that's not actually applying anything. Your missus is behind you, by the way.
My lift has arrived.
Your lift has arrived. We're getting the hint, so we need to go. Okay.
No, we're all good. We're all good.
Right. Okay.
Just on about that one on Rich Holder. He's not confusing the lock-in tab for the grub screw, is he, as a shim?
Could be. So they are meant to have a lock tab on one of them on the number 2 post, which can look like a shim, but it's not. All right. So I suspect you've got a standard engine and it's just tapping, and it's tapping because you've got wear. All right. Okay. I think we need to call it a day. All right. So again, I will thank everyone for putting up with my technical incompetence earlier where we crashed out completely. That's the first time for me that's happened. My phone is actually called right down now, so that's excellent. And fan assistance, of course.
By the power of Milwaukee fan.
By the power of Milwaukee fan, my iPhone 14 has now sorted itself out. So, and my battery just about managed to make it to the end, which is fantastic. So, all I'll do here is thank Ross for coming on and helping everybody tonight. That's fantastic. Clearly, he was able to answer questions that I've no knowledge of, which is why he's here. Also, if you need any work doing, I know he's a busy man, but please drop him a line. And ask him, let him quote on a job and see what he can do for you. People don't know this, but Ross also is one of the guys I recommend when I'm out on the road and people say, look, I need an, or, if I'm looking at a car and it needs an engine, they say, who do you recommend? Ross is my go-to man. I say, please contact Ross and he can quote you for a new engine. Seriously, I can't recommend this guy enough. If you need work doing, he's the guy to come to for engines. There are, of course, other people, around the country, but I will say that about Ross because he's here. So, all right.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate that. And as everybody is saying down there, thanks to us both. So, with that, I shall wave goodbye and we will see you on a future live stream. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.